84% of teenagers today expect to get married. Only 10% expect to remain single, and 6% are undecided. Teenagers whose parents are divorced favor trial marriage by 57%. The divorce rate for teens who marry is twice as high as it is for people 22 years of age or older. There are 4 divorces for every 10 weddings in the United States.
The facts are in, and there are some startling changes to report for the 1980s. There have been more divorces than marriages reported and recorded in the state of California since 1977. More and more people are deciding to live together today rather than to get married. And 2 out of 3 marriages in California will wind up in divorce sometime during the couple's lifetime. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk, I've invited a panel of some thoughtful, older teenagers to discuss some of the questions of living together versus getting married. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk, and let's find out how each of you feels about the idea
Teen
of living
Talk
together.
on marriage.
Do you think it's
A
good
discussion
idea
with host Joe
or a bad
Feinstein
idea?
and 7 teenagers on the subject of
It's a good
marriage
idea.
versus
I live
living
with my
together.
boyfriend now, and it's comfortable. And we really, in the last year that we've been living together, we got to know each other really well. And I think it's somebody now that I could live with for the rest of my life.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Lance, is it a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, I think it's a good idea under one stipulation, that there's a formal contract between the 2 individuals, both parties.
You want to see a contract?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about contracts. I'm glad that you mentioned that right at the outset. We've got some talk about that. How do you feel about it, Tammy?
I feel that living together is an escape to get out of marriage. It's just an excuse.
The dissenting portion of our show is here right now. Yes, go ahead. You really do?
Yes, I do.
It's an escape to get away from it. Okay, we'll talk about that some more too. Carlos, how do you react?
I think that it's a good initial thing to do. Live together, and then if you find that you can live with each other pretty good, then I think you should get married.
Katrina?
I think if it's love, just go ahead and get married.
If it's love, go ahead and get married?
Because love will stay forever.
Okay, well, okay. Someone once said that marriage is a more articulated commitment, that it makes you more conscious of your relationship. Why do you think so many more people nowadays are deciding to marry less and live together more? What do you think?
Well, I think some people just can't deal with the mental, what should I say? Well, I think when people don't want to make the commitment mentally, and some people can't make the commitment financially. So instead of making that mental commitment, which is so important, they decide to live together so they can get out the situation more easily than they could if they were married.
I think you're saying something very important. There's a mental commitment, there's a financial commitment. Both are really quite important. How do you feel about this, Saul? Why are so many people marrying less and living together more?
Well, I think that they see what's going on around them with the divorce rate going up and all, and they're influenced by this, and so they're afraid to make the commitment to marriage.
It's not going to happen to me. I don't want to be one of those people that gets married and then gets divorced kind of thing. And it's usually within those first 5 years, too. Yes?
Okay, so my uncle was in this situation. He had been through 2 divorces, 2 marriages, and so he decided to live with a woman, and he lived with her for 4 years, and then he decided to get married. He just got married 2 months ago.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, except his wife thinks there's a big change in him. It's this thing of marriage, a big mental change. And it's just
A little bit much.
Right.
I hear you. I hear you. How do you feel about this, Carlos?
I agree with Saul that there are some differences in the mental ability of the person when they're getting married. It's a totally different thing. You've made a commitment to that person once you've gotten married, and when you're living together, there's always a chance where that person just might walk out on that person. There's no commitment. Everything's carefree.
Well, I would gather, Tammy, that you're deciding right now in your head that you're not going to live together with anyone until you get a ring on that finger. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why do you feel that way?
The commitment is almost the same because if he feels that he doesn't want to be committed, he's going to leave whether there's a marriage certificate or not. why drop a contract? It's cheaper to get married in the first place. And
It really is. That's true. You're absolutely right. It really is cheaper.
And there's a certain bond between a couple that is married that there isn't when they're just living together.
Mm-hmm. So for you, but for you, it's going to be marriage. Mm-hmm. Anybody else on the panel for marriage?
Me.
Yes, tell me about that.
Well, because of my religious beliefs, I believe in marriage and the family union because I am family oriented. Mm-hmm. So I believe in marriage, and it's the ultimate thing. I mean, I don't think everybody's going to get married, but if you do, it's a wonderful thing. It's something that should be done one time, unless, you know, your husband or wife dies or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm for marriage.
Okay. Anybody else? You are too? Yes, Katrina?
Well, my my religious belief, you know, is about the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, like I said, if it's love, love is going to stay forever. But there is a big problem, you know, the financial. There's the problem. That's how come there's a lot of divorce, because of the financial problems.
I think a lot of the problem with the marriage problem too is the babies business and having babies too soon. Really getting involved with that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But I have a thing that I tell all my classes. I don't care if you live together or you get married. No babies for 5 years into the relationship.
That's what
5 years to establish a nice relationship between you and your spouse. You know.
Yeah.
It's a totally different aspect after you've had that child.
One of the members of our panel, Kim, is actually living together with a young man, and I'm wondering, Kim, how do you feel about living together? Is it working out all right?
Perfectly. I mean, in the last year that we've been living together, I've become a lot closer to my boyfriend. I understand him. We talk a lot more. We're more of a unit now, like a family unit. And you know, when the day comes for us to get married, we'll be ready. We will definitely be ready for that commitment. Because most people, when they're going to get married, they haven't spent that much time day-to-day living with each other, and it's rough. It's very hard to get used to someone else. You know,
How long have you been living together
almost
now?
a year.
Almost a year?
Almost a year.
Do you think there's a period of time of living together to lead into when you should be married?
No. When you are ready to make that jump, it's a big commitment. That's why I can understand. That's why I sympathize with people who just want to be married and don't want to live together, because there is such a commitment there. And that's why we're not quite ready to make it yet. We want to live together, see how things work between us, if we can really work every single day together.
How long do you, those of you that believe in living together, excluding Tammy, those of you that believe in living together, how long do you think that you should know each other before you plan to move in and live together? Carlos?
It really all depends on the individuals. It could be a year, it could be a couple months, it could be 3 years. It all depends.
Do you have any particular preference of how long you would know this gal before you'd move in with her?
Oh, I couldn't say.
You couldn't
really
say
couldn't
that.
Say.
Okay. Lance, how about you?
It makes no difference as long as they're compatible. 1 day is enough. You know,
1 day is enough?
Or a week, yeah, sure.
I love the color of your eyes. Let's live together. Really?
Enjoy life. Go for it. Go for it.
Lance, you're great. You're a little nuts, but you're great. Saul, what about you?
Well, time period's not important. It's just if you've established a relationship so that you feel that you could live together, and you've got to work out financial. You know, it's a big contract. It's a big commitment. So with a Marvin case, and that you know that you could get into financial trouble unless you know what you're getting into.
There's always
just because you're not married doesn't mean that you're not committed to the person. You have an emotional and moral commitment if you're living with somebody.
How long should you know someone before you consider getting married to a person? Any thoughts about that? Tammy, how long would you say that you should know? I don't know that there's an actual answer.
I don't think there's any actual answer. It depends on the individuals themselves, if they feel they're ready to commit themselves. There should be there's no time limit.
There's no time limit?
No.
Any time limit for you?
No, it depends on if you love that person. If it's love, like I say, love.
How do you
Oh God, what is? That's all right. Tell us what is love, Katrina?
I can't explain it.
Have you ever been in love?
Well, it's not for me to say. Serious.
It's not for me to say.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
well, I just spoke with a guy a couple of months ago, and I thought I was really in love with him, and we always said that we was going to get married and that type of thing. And he's a minister. He still is a minister. He's 16 like I am. He was 17 now. And I really thought I was in love with him. And what love felt to me then, it was so special. Like when I see him, I just felt good inside. We share and we care, we give. When I cry, he cries with me, but gives me words of encouragement. That type of thing. Somebody will stand with you to the end of time. You know, someone will die for you. That type of thing.
What happened to that great love?
Hey, that's why I said I thought I was in love. But I found out. But I did find
I looked for love. Yeah?
I thought I was in love, but I know that I love him as a person. I was not in love.
That's very nice.
Yes.
That's very nice. Saul, what do you think? Do you think that there's is marriage a sacred institution to you?
Yes, it is. It's been going on since time began, as far as I know, and it's really important. Cultures have used it, and it's been going on, and only in the last 50 years has divorce, say, escalated, and now we have a totally different
Make it the
situation.
last 25 years. Make it the last 25 or 30 years. Just ever since about 1950 is really when it all started, after the World War II. And we found out that women, could really do for themselves, and men came back and they just couldn't hack the reality that women could really handle their own lives. It's very threatening. The divorce as an idea really didn't get started for much more than about a generation ago. Is marriage a sacred institution to you, Lance?
Well, I think that there's a key word there. It's an institution. And just as in any institution, a prison, a jail, I think that there's things to really take into account. And my own opinion is that I just want to stay away from it, period. Whether it being sacred or not, for those individuals that do take it upon themselves to get married, sure, it's sacred. In my own estimation, I think, and I view it as an institution, strictly, and as a tie-down.
Is it a sacred institution for you?
That's why I'm not married yet, because it's a commitment. There's something very, very special. I only want to do it once. I don't want to ever get married twice. I want this one person that I love very, very much to be with forever. That's how important it is to me, and that's why I want to make sure it is the last person.
A contract is an agreement which binds two people together. Panel, I'm wondering, what would you do if you were writing a marriage contract or a live-together contract for the 80s? What kinds of things would you include? Kim, what would you include in it?
What kind of things would I include? Oh, I guess that we would each keep up our financial agreement. If I agreed to work a certain amount of time, and my partner did too, that we kept an agreement about that. And an agreement about children, how many children, what we felt was the right time for children.
If he says 12 and you say 2, what
You better figure out which one it's going to be quickly. And mainly that, I guess our financial situation would be good, because that's usually what hurts most marriages or most couples.
In most couples, the biggest single practical problem is the bucks. Dollars are very, very important. They do create a lot of havoc. What would you include, Carlos?
I would include basically if the contract would ever, if the living together, the marriage ever dissolved, that all the personal assets would just go back to that individual.
Isn't that negative, though, to think in terms of what's going to happen at the end if it doesn't work out?
It is, but you always have to be prepared for every different aspect.
Okay.
It's possible.
It is possible. In the state of California, it's 70%
Right.
now is running into divorce. 2 out of 3 marriages.
Right.
1 out of 2 nationally, 2 out of 3 in the state of California. What would you include, Saul?
Well, I would say if I was going to make the commitment to live with somebody, I would say that I wouldn't want to make any rules at all, because I'd be saying, well, I want to do my own thing and you can do your own thing, because that's the reason that you're not getting married in the first place. So rules, except for financial rules, which you hate to do it, but you almost have to do it in today's society. With everything going to court, and you just can't risk it. But besides that,
Can you
I
see
would-
cutting up the couch into 2 sections, you know, and part kind of thing?
You're
That's why
laughing.
people are buying sectionals, maybe, you know, and they keep on buying it this way. What would you do, Adrian?
Well, like you said, Saul said about the rules. I don't like the rules. You know,
Mind you, too much at school.
yeah, that's it. But you just have to, I think my contract, it would be basically mental, you know, but that has to come within yourself, the commitment that you're making to that person. And the financial thing, like Saul said again, society almost, you just have to, because, you know, if the one person leaves you, you know, and you're not working, you know, you say, oh, wow, I got to, you know, get up and find me a job, and, you know, it just starts new problems and that type of thing. But basically, mine would be a mental contract,
A
financial.
mental contract, okay. I don't know how we get that down into print,
Yeah.
but that would remain as an
Tough.
interesting point. Tammy, what would you include in your in your contract, marriage or?
As opposed to the living together contract, in anything you do, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So if you bring something into a marriage, you should get that, only that, and nothing more. It means of separation. If the wife would take the children, she's entitled to her child support to help out. She's got extra things to do, things that she couldn't take care of by herself. They need more than she could give. Then she needs that extra help. In terms of her going to court and asking for great sums of money, I think that's quite unfair, because you should only get out what you put into it.
Okay. Is there a difference, do you think, between what you would include in a marriage contract versus what you would include in a live-together contract? Would there be different things in there, or would you include the same things?
No, that would be different
Different things.
because you're bringing your personal belongings into the relationship, into the house, apartment, wherever you're living. And when if anything would happen, you would separate, you're going to want those things back. In the case of a guy, you're not going to want your girlfriend going to court and asking for your personal belongings after you've brought them in an agreement.
What happens to the property that actually they encounter throughout their marriage? Let's say a marriage for 30 years or 25 years. There's a lot of inanimate objects that are required. Personal real estate, personal belongings. How do you separate that? How do you define what's one partner's and what's others?
That's what you're bringing into the marriage. If you've brought something in, the property agreements, it's automatically split in half.
You know there's no more divorces. You know that. There's no more divorce in California, where we dissolve the marriage and everything goes right down, split down the middle, 50-50. And everybody gets a 50% share in this thing. But let's not talk about the negatives. Let's talk about some of the positives. What are some of the qualities of a good relationship, and how do you intend to incorporate those kinds of things into your lives? Katrina, what are you going to do to make this thing happen well for you?
First of all, you both should have something in common. You guys should laugh and not always be serious.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's called a sense of humor. That's right. It's very, very important. We've got to make each other laugh occasionally, right? Okay, yeah, what else?
And, I mean, just be happy instead of be down. Don't be down all the time.
Okay, optimism and looking at things in a brighter kind of way could be one of the things. And you can start that with yourself. Okay, what else? What else will you do, Adrian, to make certain that this relationship sticks?
Well, have an understanding between each other, to understand a person's viewpoints, and their morals, because that's important to understand another person. For one, they're not blood related. When you have a family like your brother and sister, you understand them because you come from the same background, and you can understand them that way because you live with them. But somebody outside the family is different, and you have to understand them in order to grow together. Because if you don't know where a person's coming from, that's where prejudice starts. You don't know what they're talking about, and that type of thing. There's conflict. So
Sounds like
understanding.
you're saying compromise is an important part of a relationship.
Yes.
Compromising a little bit and giving in a little bit.
Yes.
What else, Saul? What would you include?
Well, I think you would have to have a kind of an oral contract in advance so that you know exactly where the other person is coming from.
Communication, consideration, patience, a sense of humor, and trust seem to be the bases of all good human experiences. Teens have not had many strong role models lately. People have not learned how to get married properly, and they certainly don't know how to divorce properly either. We're in need of repair in the art of living and loving. Perhaps the two books I can recommend to you this week can help out. The Psychology of Romantic Love by Dr. Nathaniel Branden is a wonderful book, and certainly the Living Together Kit by Ralph Warner makes a lot of sense for use in that kind of area. Panel, you have really helped us understand marriage and living together just wonderfully. This is Joe Feinstein for Teen Talk saying we'll see you soon. Stay married properly, divorce properly, love properly.